What's happening, folks? I'm Andy, your Electric Geek, and in today's video what we're going to be looking at is the online rental service Cinema Paradiso. Now, I know what you're thinking, online rental of discs in 2023, is that even viable? Is it worth your while, you know, in the age of digital streaming, when loads and loads of movies are available to rent digitally? But I can pretty much guarantee not as many as Cinema Paradiso have in their very extensive physical media library to rent over 100,000 titles as it is. So Cinema Paradiso started back in 2003 and this is its 20-year anniversary. I'll admit I'd never even heard of them, and it was actually a subscriber, Kazim. This is your moment, Kazim. You've been waiting on this video, I know you have, mate. Anyway, Kazim hit me up through Instagram. He sent me a direct message and basically said, look, have you heard of Cinema Paradiso? I use it myself, maybe it'd be good for you, the channel. And, you know, I thought that myself. I thought, you know, he's maybe onto something here. I could even just sign up purely to get 4K Blu-rays at a fraction of the price rather than having to buy them for $24.99, and I can review them on the channel. It might give me more options, mean I can put out more reviews. And that was the initial plan. It didn't quite work out that way, but I ended up being a full convert to getting movies via the post, basically, as a rental service. And I love Cinema Paradiso now. I did take a 2-month freeze of my subscription, really for cost reasons, cost of living and all that, to be honest, but I'll get into that later and how you can do that yourself also when we review the service in itself. But yeah, that's the kind of goal for today, is to throw some light on Cinema Paradiso and review it for you. So I've been using it now for about 6 months, including the 2-month break that I had, and there's pros and cons to it. More pros, I have to say, from my point of view, but I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on whether or not it's worth it for you. And I should say just now that this isn't in partnership with them whatsoever. This is just my honest opinion on the service. I'm paying the subscription with my own money, so it's an honest review of the service in itself. So how does it work? You basically sign up now. When you sign up to Cinema Paradiso, the kind of recommended subscription fee is $16.99, and that's unlimited rentals at 2 movies a go. And you can have DVD, Blu-ray, 4K and even 3D, believe it or not, should you require it. And all you do is simply, using their website, select what format you want each movie in. That's what I started on for my 2-week free trial. I should point that out, you do get a 2-week free trial, so as I say, it's worth giving a go anyway, even if it's just for the 2 weeks for free, see if you like it. But that's what they put you on initially, and then I found that was just a bit steep for me. Reason being, I'm a busy man. I work shifts, I certainly at the time I worked shifts. I've got 2 young kids and I do the whole YouTube thing, so I don't actually get the luxury of going through a mass amount of movies. And I'm also buying physical media, which, you know, is something you have to think about when you're taking any subscription on, certainly when it's movies. If you're buying movies and, you know, steelbooks at 30 quid a pop, special editions at 50 quid and more, then you've got to kind of factor in that monthly cost as well and think, you know, is it worth it? So the sweet spot for me was the $10.99 a month option, which was 1 movie, unlimited rentals, so 1 movie at a time and all the formats, as I say. But there is one below that, which is $7.99, and that's 1 movie at a time but only 2 a month. But the caveat there is you don't get 4K and 3D, you only get DVD and HD Blu-ray. But I would imagine HD Blu-ray is going to be plenty for most, and depending on your taste, not everything is in 4K. So their extensive 100,000 movie library is largely made up of DVDs and Blu-ray, although they do have pretty much everything on 4K, certainly that I've experienced so far. Any movie I've fancied, certainly newer titles and even the old catalogue ones, they are buying up the 4K as and when it comes out, so that's pretty cool. On the price, I think it's pretty competitive. Now, my experience, as I say, I've been using it for 6 months now, pretty much on that $10.99 a month, 1 movie at a time. And the turnaround I find is that I'm getting through about 1 a week. So in any given month, I'm getting about 4 or 5 rentals. And when you break that down, divide it by the $10.99 a month, that roughly works out to about $2.75 or $2.20. I don't have my notes in front of me, so don't judge me if I'm getting it wrong, but it is there or thereabouts. So $2.75 if you're 5 films a month, or $2.20 if you're 4 films a month. That's what you've managed to fit in. Now, my most recent rental is The Fabelmans. As I say, this is how it comes, just in a little red envelope. Simply tear it open, and inside is your movie. Now, you'll know in advance because they email you, and if you've got the app like I do, then you can check. And as soon as they get your old one, they pretty much update straight away with what they're sending you, which is pretty cool. So you can look forward to it arriving. But this is The Fabelmans, and I have watched it. Really good movie, actually. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 on my letterbox. Not the greatest Steven Spielberg film, but it's his most personal, certainly. And it's got a few killer scenes, especially the one at the end with David Lynch playing John Ford, his real-life encounter as a young boy, first got into Hollywood. And I pretty much think it's word for word the way Steven Spielberg remembered that exchange going, and it's probably one of the highlights of the film. But definitely worth checking out. But anyway, I digress. The Fabelmans currently, if you want to watch this on a digital platform, rent it in 4K, you can get it on Apple. Now, on Apple, you'll pay $4.99 for the 4K version. Amazon Movies, you can't even get the 4K, and it's $4.99 to rent it in full HD. Now, of course, I don't need to tell you guys, but just in case someone's watching who isn't mad into 4K Blu-ray, the bit rates are much higher on 4K Blu-ray. This is your ultimate movie watching experience, really, maybe barring Kaleidoscape, a really high-end, really expensive hard drive which can store the movies in a similar file size to what's on a 4K Blu-ray, pure as it were, lossless audio, uncompressed video quality. So this will beat anything on Apple TV or Amazon, whatever you may choose, whatever your kind of digital delivery service is. So this is the best way to watch it and the cheapest by my calculation. So as I say, if I took out 5 films that month, I'm watching this for $2.20. I can keep it as long as I want, watch it whenever I want. Obviously I've got the outlay of buying a 4K Blu-ray player, but if you're going to the extent of signing up for Cinema Paradiso, I'm assuming you've already got that covered. So I'm not really factoring that in the price comparison. So it is pretty good value for money when I break it down that way, I think anyway. When it comes to your streaming services, they have to continually change up what they have on the servers to give you on demand. So be that Netflix, Apple, Disney Plus, whatever it may be, they don't have unlimited server space, and there's obviously licensing rules as well. Say they want to show you Spider-Man Homecoming, a Sony movie, Netflix has got to pay Sony X amount for 6 months that will be available to their customers, and then it'll go off and Sony will ship that to somewhere else and someone else will have it, or they'll put it in Disney Plus, whatever. So it's not always going to be there, whereas Cinema Paradiso stock is always going to be there. So you're limited probably to a few thousand movies on each platform. And the way streaming's going as well is they're all getting in the action. You'll notice all these like indie labels popping up. So like Arrow Video, for example, distributor, they've got their own channel now. BFI's got their own channel. Studio Canal, you name it. My mind's gone blank, but there's loads of them. Shudder, loads and loads of different studios, smaller studios and indie distributors coming out with their channel. All the stuff that they've already licensed, clawing it back. So gone are the days when you could just get Netflix or Amazon and you'd pretty much have your pick of all the different studios' movies, because they're all clawing them back in. Paramount Plus, Disney Plus has now got the 20th Century Fox catalogue and all the Marvel, Star Wars stuff. Whereas Cinema Paradiso was buying the discs, so they have them all under one roof. Yeah, you don't have the convenience of being able to just hit a button and it instantly streams to your house. You have to wait on the disc coming, but when that disc comes, you're getting it, as I say, uncompressed. But when regards your video and audio, it's the best way to watch it, basically. The range is hard to beat. I mean, some of the films that I've managed to track down from Cinema Paradiso, just off the top of my head, and you'll see it in the pictures, are Nighthawks, which is an old 1980s kind of terrorist thriller with Stallone and Rutger Hauer. Someone recommended it to me and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I got it on there. Now, just on DVD, but I got it straight to my door and I watched it. Another one was John Woo's The Killer, one of his early Hong Kong kind of action shoot-em-ups with Chow Yun-fat. Got that straight to my door. I'm sure there's others in there as well. There's some kind of DC animated ones that I've got also. There's always ones on there that you can't currently get on streaming. They may have been on there at one point, but when I've went to watch them, they've not been available. So Cinema Paradiso's came up trumps. And so far, pretty much anything I can think of that I've wanted to watch, it's on there. However, it's not always available to rent at the time that you want it, and that's one of the cons, but we'll get to that towards the end of the video. But on the whole, I really do think Cinema Paradiso is worth your while. If you've been following the channel for a while, then you'll know that I'm big into watching movies in the highest possible quality. I like physical media, I like collecting it, I enjoy the premium sets and all that good stuff. And I consider myself a true movie fan. I'm not snobby about it, but I enjoy watching movies. I haven't seen everything. There's loads of things I've still to experience. be it, you know, really niche foreign language films to quite mainstream stuff that's just passed me by. And Cinema Paradiso is a great way to get that into my eyeballs in the best quality. I think it's good value for money. I think the range you get is fantastic. And what I will say is that in the world of streaming, too much choice can be paralysing. And I value my time. I don't have a lot of time, as I say, I'm a busy man with family and work and whatnot, and my own hobbies. And tell me if you've been there, but how many times have you put Netflix on, Paramount Plus, whatever it is you're subscribed to, Sky, movies, and you end up spending 40, 45 minutes just ploughing through all this stuff before you actually choose something to watch. I find that anyway. I think just too much choice, as I say, paralyses you. The beauty and the simplicity of Cinema Paradiso is that you've paid for that disc and it physically arrives. And when it arrives, to me anyway, there's a pressure, but pressure in a good way, to watch it. You've already put it on a watch list, so it's something you want, obviously, else you wouldn't have been sent it. And the fact that it's sitting there makes you want to watch it. It makes it more of an event. So you put it on, you sit down and you make the time to watch it. There's no messing about with, oh, but should I watch this instead? You prioritise that movie and you watch it and you focus on it more, I think, than you would when you're streaming, because you know you've got to get it watched and get it packaged up and sent back in order to get another one, so that you're getting value for money out of subscription. So that's the kind of hidden bonus to Cinema Paradiso that I didn't really see coming, is that I'm actually getting through more, getting them out in dribs and drabs, but stuff I've specifically asked for and getting it in disc format. I don't know if it's the novelty of that, but it makes me want to watch it. And I think if you're anything like me, chances are you are watching this channel, then you'll find that as well. So I think that's a big plus for online rental. The website is really fluid and easy to use as well, and there is an app which I find really useful. So I've got it downloaded on my iPhone 11. Obviously the desktop version has a lot more options, and Cinema Paradiso recommend that you have 20 movies on your list. That's obviously so if something's not in, they can just keep going down the list until they find something. I think 20 is a bit excessive, but they're obviously just trying to cover all bases there. You can create your own list as well, so if you're on the kind of tier that's sending out 2 or 3 at a time, the maximum, by the way, I should have said, is $22.99 a month, and that's 3 discs at a time, unlimited. So obviously the more money you pay in subscription, the more films you get out, the better value per disc it'll be, if that makes sense. So I think my calculations were, at the $22.99 a month, your movies are only going to be costing you like $1.50 a pop, which is obviously a lot more competitive than anything a digital platform can offer you. But you can have multiple lists, so you can split it into genres if you don't want the same genre coming out. You can maybe have a horror list, an action list, a foreign language one, whatever it is. If you've got the 3 at a time, you could be having one from each genre coming, which is a nice way to keep your viewing balanced. But you can do it on the hop as well, which is why I like the app, because sometimes I've posted one and then I have a quick look at my list, and whatever's sitting top of my list, I've kind of gone off watching that, or I'm not as keen on seeing it as maybe something that's further down, so I can move it up, and then when they process my disc, they'll send me out that one, or they're more likely to send me out that one if it's at the top of my list. So I really like the app, and I'd recommend downloading it should you decide to go with the service. But like I said, it is an honest review, so there are some cons. Now, the cons are obvious, and that is that it's not as convenient as streaming. You have to wait a few days to get your disc to your door, obviously, and depending on where you are, it might be a wee bit impractical to keep posting them back. I'm very lucky in that I have 2 post boxes within about 100 metres either side of my house, so sometimes, which will be happening tonight by the way, because I've been holding on to that Fabelmans as a prop when I should have sent it back ages ago, but I'll just watch a film, it'll finish at midnight, I stick my slippers on and I walk to the end of the road and I post my movie so the postman gets it the next day and it speeds up the process. But I'm fortunate in that regard, so I don't have to really go out my way to post my movies back to them. It's really simple, and as I say, all you're doing is it's free post, and you just send it back. All you do is tear the perforated slip off, stick your disc back inside and seal it up with adhesive, and you send it back. So it couldn't be more simple. Where it can be a little bit frustrating, I have to say though, is when you're waiting on a specific film and it keeps getting skipped over. Now, I'm assuming that's because someone's held on to it and they've maybe only got 1 copy or something, and that person's taken forever to get it back, or he stole it or whatever. So that's a little bit frustrating when you keep having the one movie you want to see at the top of your list, but you keep getting the second or third choice all the time. I wish there was a way they could bring something into the website to make it a wee bit more nuanced. Like maybe when you send one back, you can stipulate that you don't want another one sent out until that comes back in. Yeah, it's maybe not great value for money, but if you really want to see that film and you're willing to wait, maybe that would be an option for some people. And the only other snag I would say is that the turnaround is quite slow. Now it says like next day delivery on the website, and I'm sure it is in some places. Actually in Scotland, obviously, I'm assuming that Cinema Paradiso are based down in England somewhere, and it might just be the postal service up here. It is Royal Mail, but typically I would say I can get about 2 movies in a week. So let's just say one arrived on Monday, I watch it Monday night and I post it midnight Monday night, it goes away on the Tuesday. Typically I'm getting my next rental Thursday or Friday, and obviously I'm not going to be able to watch that and post that by the end of the week, so that's going to be Monday or Tuesday before that one comes. So that's where I come to my average of 4 or 5 a week for me personally. I mean, obviously if you're jogging on the spot and you watch them as soon as they come in, great, you're probably going to eke a little bit more out of that and you're going to get even more value for money, but that was just where I was averaging out at. So it's maybe not quite as quick a turnaround as they would maybe have you believe on the website, but again, that might vary depending on where you are in the UK. But in a nutshell, if this was a 4K Blu-ray, I usually review it out of 5, don't I? So I would say Cinema Paradiso is a solid 4 out of 5. It loses that star just for the cons that I've kind of mentioned. It's always an uphill struggle with streaming. That's the major thing, is that the practicality of streaming just can't be matched, even when they've gone to great lengths, you know, with the prepaid envelope and keeping it as simple as possible. But who's this ultimately for? This is ultimately for cinema fans who like watching movies in the highest quality, you know, proper cinephiles. So I'm in that camp. I'm quite sure people watching this, yourselves out there, are in that camp. So I strongly urge you to try it. Now I appreciate times are tight, so it might actually be a good way to save money as well, because you're still getting to watch the latest movies, you know, or obscure movies in 4K, older movies that have been re-released in the highest quality for a fraction of the price. Yeah, you don't get to keep them, but you're still getting to enjoy them if at the moment you've decided that to continue collecting, you know, the latest releases or the latest steelbooks and whatnot is just not feasible for you now. It might be a good idea to take this out until you've raided that financial storm, as they say. And just briefly, you can freeze your membership just like I had said earlier. So if you're using it for a while and you decide, do you know what, I need to take a wee break, you can literally take a break from 1 week right up to 8 weeks, and you can obviously cancel if you absolutely have to. But if you've enjoyed this review, of course, give it a wee like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content of this kind of ilk. If you fancy trying Cinema Paradiso yourself, then I have left a link down in the description. It is an affiliate link. Now, I did say that this video wasn't in partnership with them, and it isn't. They don't know anything about me doing this review, but they do have an affiliate program which I've signed up to prior to doing this review. So if you use the link, it'd be much appreciated. It just supports me and the channel, and it means I can buy more films, do more reviews, review the stuff you like. But of course, you're under absolutely no obligation to go through the link, but it would help me and the channel. But I strongly recommend checking out Cinema Paradiso, even if it's just for the 2-week free trial. Alright, but that's it folks. I've been Andy Electric Geek. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.